Okay, so hi everyone. I have 20 minutes to speak about feature toggle and microservices. I'm Cédric Lunven. I'm a developer advocate at DataStax. And 5 years ago, I used to create a framework named FF4J, which is actually an implementation of the feature toggle pattern. Is everybody has heard about FF4J by chance? Oh, some hands raised. Okay, so before going to a live demo, I would like to introduce what is a features to me. Probably most of you already know what a feature is. It's a behavior in your applications, a business function you try to implement. The important things I would like to show you is the features should be implemented in all the layers of your applications. So if you want to enable or disable a features at runtime, which is feature toggle, you would like to be able to do that in all the layers of your application, and not only the services, but also the UI, for instance. So what is feature toggle? Feature toggle is putting some condition predicates in your code and be able to choose between one behavior against another. And most importantly, you have to switch and you'll be able to change the behavior at runtime. You would like to enable or disable that switch at runtimes. If you Google a little bit at the feature toggle pattern, most of the time you will see that the use case is trunk-based development. By default, when you want to create a new features in your application, you will fork the trunk, work on your branch to implement your features, and when ready, you will merge the branch into the trunk. But during the development of your features, obviously you will have multiple releases, and when it comes the time to merge your own work, it becomes dependency hell, merge hell, because you have to figure it out what moved between now and the moment you forked. So to cope with that, people try to do some trunk-based development. Everybody working on the trunk. But what can you do trunk-based development if you're still deploying again and again in continuous deployment mode, even maybe multiple times a day? Well, you can put a feature flag to protect your code. Of course, your flag will be disabled, but this way you'll be able to ship your code into production even if the code is not ready. So, to be honest, it works, but I really don't like this use case because if you think only about that, you may think, oh, feature toggle or feature flags, it's very some kind of technical depth. It's bad. It's not what I want to use. Let's talk about this one. Okay. Imagine you have a distributed architecture, any kind of distributed architectures. Could be microservices, could be high availability, could be databases, anything. And you have to deploy a new version of your application in your cluster. What do? Most of the time, you do what we call blue-green deployment because you don't want any downtime. So we'll take the first node, shut down, put the new version in production, N+1, put back onto production, and second node, shut down, update, put in productions. It's good, it works. But if you have more than 2 nodes, you will get some consistency issues. If you shut down node 3, for instance, that node 2, the node 1 would still be in will be in N+1 version because you just release it. Node 3 and above will be in version N. And then during the time you are upgrading your node of your cluster, then you will get some inconsistency, different version of the node inside the same cluster. So now think about if you implemented some feature toggle in your applications. Now you will start to deploy the new version on each node, but all the features are disabled. Do the full cluster, everybody ready, and when everybody ready, just switch the flag. And everybody move to N+1, and now it's fully consistent. And by the way, if the release is bad, it's never happened, but maybe business changed their mind, then you still have to push again the flag and you go back to version N. There is no more rollback needed. So, move on. Feature toggle is not only a Boolean you will store somewhere in a properties, in memory, in a database, I don't know. You don't need a framework for that, right? You can do it by your own. But let's imagine now you also add the permissions. So not only you will test that the feature is enabled, but you also know if the people can reach and use the feature or not. And then new use cases, what you could canary release. And instead of just creating a new environment for people to test the new features, as you used to do for qualifications, then you can ship your code, put it into production, and open new features only, I don't know, for beta tester or very small populations. And that way you can test in production. I don't tell you that, but it's a way to do it. Why? And if the code is ready, then you can open the new features for everyone, and you don't have to ship the code. It's already there. Just open the features for everyone. And last but not least, in a feature toggle, you can implement your own strategy. You can define your own predicate you want to integrate in your features. Implement your own logic, depending on the profile of user, depending on the location where you are, depending on the time it is, depending on the release date. You will implement your own predicate and know if a feature should be enabled or not. And by doing that, you can have some kind of adaptive behavior. The application will adapt. You can ship this very same application in multiple locations, for instance. And if the application as startup look at, oh, I'm on Amazon, maybe I will enable some features dedicated to Amazon. But for you, it's still the same applications, and you can ship the same deliverables everywhere. Okay, saying that, last notion I need to introduce before the demo is the feature store. Of course, we are speaking about distributed architecture, especially with microservices. So you will have multiple instances of your services and multiple services. So you cannot use feature toggle in memory. You have to switch the flag for everyone. So you need a store, a consistent store, and all the instances will look at the store. And you can have a dedicated UI, not inside the services, because it would be a security issue, but close to it, dedicated admin UI, where you can switch and all the services will be able to enabled. So 5 years ago, I created that small framework, FF4J, almost 500 stars on GitHub now, and it implements the feature toggle pattern and a bit more, and I would like to show you that in a demo now. Okay, so first thing, do you know Consul, the service discovery tools, which enable you to scale dynamically your services? You have one instance of the service, it will register to Consul, register to Consul, and when you need to interact your microservice, you will first look at Consul. Consul will give you how many instances of the service is available and provide you even the load balancing with DNS policy if you wish. Well, this is what I will use with my microservices. Here I'm in Eclipse. I have a multi-module Maven project, 3 modules, and let's start by the console. The console is really simple. Let's open the correct POM. It's just a Spring Boot application with a Spring Boot starter, and I enable the Consul Spring Cloud stuff. So a little bit of configuration in application.properties, but that's it. You can go start the demo application like that. Okay then, starting. And then in Consul, you should be able to see that the application administration console is starting up, and it will obviously keep a little time to be healthy, and there you go. And you have your nice, very simple demo application, just a simple web. So now, in the POM, you just have to import the Spring Boot starter from the framework FF4G. It's already done, so let's do that. And just by providing that dependency, you will have a dedicated web UI like that, providing a feature store, okay? Like that, it's a feature store. But right now it's all about in-memory, and this is not what we want. We want to connect to Consul, just to look and work with the features. Because Consul not only provides the service registration, but also a key value store. And I would like to use that key value store to leverage and do some feature toggle. So what I do now, it's going to the code, providing the FF4G bin. For now, it was just all about in memory. I will create like that. And then restart my application. Demo. Okay, so now I'm connected to console, and for the feature store, property store, I will talk about that a bit later, and the event repository, which means everything that you will do with FF4G will be logged, audited. You want to create a new features, I need to track that. So if I go to features and create a new one, then it will be available in Consul, of course, created that new features. So now I'm ready. I can start up my small services. First is order services. And the second is support services, like that. So let's go here. Order services and support services. Just, again, very too small microservices. And I want to enable a feature toggle for those microservices. So again, I go back to the POM. And instead of providing the full starter, which will import the administration console, I will just declare the store. I will need to use Consul to store features. Put Consul here, for Cassandra here, for all the logs and event time series. And look at the FF4G configuration. It's exactly the same as the one in the administration console, of course, just to connect to the same thing. And you can look that I say, oh, I want you to auto-create the features. That means that each time I will need to use that features, let's say, check. Each time I will check something, if the feature is not there, I will create it just to avoid any issues. So if I go to my console now, in the features, Colus has been created and OpenIssue as well. So in that small sample of mine, I just have a button that will show up if the feature is enabled. So this is what I will do. I will say, okay, I will enable Colus like that. I can also edit a little bit more my features. Put that in a group to be able to switch the full group. So I go back to my service, and boom, now my button is there, I can use it. Same as for support. I can use it multiple times. And same as for OpenIssue now, I can also enable that and get another button here. But wait a minute. I have now a store when I put some key values, and for now I'm just putting some kind of Boolean in there. And I got the idea to put also the properties and do some application management inside the very same framework. So if I go back to the home page, I can switch to property stores and then maybe create a phone number to call. It's a string. Never mind. Okay. In the same way as I created some features, I created some properties. It's available in Consul because Consul provides a UI, but you can switch and use a few databases. We got few implementation of the feature stores and property stores. You can pick up among Mongo, Elasticsearch, Cassandra, Consul, Netflix, Neo4j, EdgeCatch, Redis, well, quite a lot. So if I go back to my services now, I should be able to see my phone number, which has been said to say, oh, if that property exists, you will display it. Okay. So far, so good. But what now? We got a framework that can interact with multiple microservices, and each time you will have to use the features, you will use the feature toggle to test. So why not monitoring each time a feature is used? And this is what we can do in the monitoring UI here. Just by, oh, okay. Oh, table audit does not exist. Yes, I did not create the table in Cassandra. I can go here and ask my little UI to create the tables. And if I go here and see my schema now, you see that my audit table is not created by the UI. So, if I still start to use my services, then I go back to my monitoring and boom. Now I got the hit count of each features, like that. And I can also display that as a time series. And oh, maybe I just want to use the call US just to see how much time it's used in the day, like that. And as I told you, everything is logged, so I can create something new, and you will see that in the monitoring audit, you will see everything that's created. Good. And of course, Cassandra, it's a really good fit for this kind of UI. So, if you want to give a try, go to ff4j.github.io because we provide way much feature than just the monitoring. We can provide, for instance, a command line interface because not all the applications are using a web UI, GMX, a caching because you do not want to access the database each time you want to test the features. It may introduce an overhead if your database is too slow. They can use some caching mechanism provided. The REST API, because as I said, features can be in the UI and most UI now are coding in JavaScript. So if you want to check, you need to use that REST API and use it in your JavaScript framework. So as a conclusion, I just would like you to test the framework and give me your thought. It's pretty easy to test it. Just have to run a couple that command and see what you get and give me your feedback. Thank you. Question? Yes. Multiple ways to define feature dependencies. One way is when I create a features, I can say, okay, that features as a strategy may depend on other features. So it can be a strategy, as I put here. I expect to be features 1 and features 2 to be enabled just to be able to use feature 3. Because you want to avoid nested dependencies. If you want if check feature 1 and inside the same code if check feature 2, it's some kind, you must ringing the bell. It's hazardous. So you can use some kind of expression strategy like that. You can also use what we call the aspect-oriented programming. Here you have a small sample. So you will define features, put an annotation on the interface level, and provide multiple implementations. And at runtime, I will change the inversion of control of Spring and use one implementation against another. And you must split the implementations, but it's a good practice. That way, you introduce more independence between your features.